Hey y'all, we are back from our lunch break and just super excited. Not just, we are amazingly excited for the change that has happened and for different bite-sized pieces and whole meal pieces, appetizer pieces, the different things that each of us have received from this summit. And so, for those of you who are live, we appreciate you here. And everyone on the replay, we appreciate you taking the time to dive in deep to go through. Ooh, and dessert. Yes, Carol Rudd. Yeah, how did I not remember the dessert? I don't even know. Best part of the meal. Um, and so we are so thankful that you are here to take time to personally dive into living on purpose. Because really, it's taking it day by day, one step at a time, all the time, right? Seeing where we're at, knowing where we can pause, knowing where we can wait, and what freedom looks like to each of us to live on purpose. And so, super grateful to be here after lunch, and we're going to dive into the training. So, the second part of the training was implementation. It's about taking action on the things that are important to us. So, just to recap, the first part of the training is to wherever you're at that's important, take notes, highlight, and come up with a statement. So, now what do you do with your statement? Right? Do you keep it for yourself? Is it something that is personal and that is deep and that needs to be a connection with yourself? Is it something that needs to be shared? Is it something that needs to be shouted from the mountaintops? Is it something that needs to be made into a sign, or even like, I have visions when we have our next house that there will be a wall with just words on it, like painted across, like taking up the whole entire wall, with the things that are important to us. So, in that, what does that look like to you to take action with your statement? With different statement pieces. So I would love to get feedback on that. I would love to mastermind about that. And just to hear, because the masterminding is to hear from each other things that we wouldn't have thought of ourselves, right? We're all different. We're bringing things to the table. So, someone may have an idea, someone will have an idea that will spark another idea and spark another idea. And then we have this little wildfire that's happening here. And it's going to grow into what it needs to be. So, who would like to share about their statement and the action that you'll be taking with it? Who wants to go first? Hey, hey, Carol Rudd, I see you.
I'm taking that choice because my biggest takeaway so far has been I take a choice. What was it? The choice, one step over and one choice over and over and over again. I was trying to find my,
Yeah.
one choice at a time over
Yes.
and over and over again. That's what it was. I got that one and the I mixed up.
Yes.
So for me, that is getting out of my way when
Mhm.
fear comes in and just choosing to take a step.
Yeah.
Not sure what the outcome's going to be, but choosing to take that step.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And how will you remind yourself of that? So to go to the beyond level, because
Yeah.
so many times, like, we'll have the how and we make a plan in our head, but then a lot of times we can forget that, or it can go in. And then if we don't make things, if we don't set reminders, because there's so much coming at us, there's so much in our lives, there's so much we're focused on, without setting reminders. So what could be a reminder for you to do that?
Well, I was thinking what came into my head was what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? So
Yeah.
trying to make the steps and what's the next step after I made this choice?
Yeah.
And then what's the next step after I make this choice?
Yeah. I have something that came to mind in thinking of what could you do to remember. Do you have a phone that can have a background on it, a background picture? Are you attached to that background picture right now?
Sort of, but not really.
Like mine is the day that Knox was born, like the second that they put him on my chest and Brian is kissing my forehead. Like that will never change. Like that is untouchable. So if it's untouchable, finding like I have a wallpaper or whatever that's called on my computer
Yeah.
that said, yeah, the background. So it says you are exactly who you're, no, it says I am exactly who my world needs. Because what I do is so many times I tell that to other people. And so it's a reminder that I am, you know. So what came to mind is putting that as a reminder on your phone or on your computer, like having that as a wherever you spend the most time at, until it becomes a habit, until it becomes, so knowing like what is that next step when you see that, when you visually have a connection with it, then asking yourself, okay, what's next, what's the next step, you know, that may be a great thing to put as a reminder for the background of wherever you are continuously. Like I know, I mean, my phone is attached to me when I'm not sleeping. It's not, you know, like it's away from me when I'm sleeping, and then it's away from me for family time, but the rest of the time it's right next to me, you know. And so with that, having something that could be a reminder, if that sits well with you.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. So can you say it one more time?
My biggest takeaway so far is like, okay, I wrote down one step, one choice at a time, over and over and over. So
Yes.
finding that next step.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How about anybody else? That's so freeing too. I love it. Thank you. Who else would want to share their either your biggest takeaway or how you'll be reminded of it? This kind of also ties into vision, to be able to say that keeping your vision in front of you, right? Keeping that, like, whether it's daily vision, whether it's, you know, from a certain time from now vision, but being able to keep that in front of you, so that you're aware of it. Okay, we're looking for 2 more people. Who would want to share, or who wants to share?
I can share that one of the most powerful ways for me to remember anything is a visual.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm looking at my notes for vision, it can encompass the whole thing, right? So it can encompass everything that I do, anywhere that I am, which is see, hear, and think for myself, and that it all matters and it begins with me. So I have a picture of an eye, an ear, and a brain, and I wrote see, hear, think. It all matters and begins with me.
I just got a picture of like the images, you know, like the different icons of the ear, the ear, the eye, and the brain, and having it all matters. It begins with me, you know. So see, hear, and know. Like what felt stronger is when you said it all matters.
Yeah, that's what I have wrote down.
Yeah, totally. So having that, like it all matters. So in times where you're not feeling seen, or you're not seeing other people, or you feel disconnected, you know, to have that visual of that.
An aha that I am now having is when Sister B was talking about the it. Now saying, like, hearing like it all matters. I was like, oh. And then she mentioned for her it's experience, and that hit for me because I'm all about experience.
Yeah.
So like the experience matters in what I see and what I hear and what I think about being in the experience, and that it does begin with me and like how I think about it.
Yeah, that's so good. So good. I love it. Tammy just wrote, I am the sum of all my choices. Yes, girl. Yes. 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 Yeah, Shelly. I love it because that was your quote.
It was so for me, this
Yeah.
all goes back to like at the beginning of the year when we first had our thing and we kind of had these like weird car references, which normally would not be a thing for me. I'm like, why are we talking about cars all year? Right. But like my whole theme for the year is stay in your lane. And what I added to that today is here's the thing, right? I'm still following my GPS. So even if it does need a recalibration or whatever it needs, I still have to stay with my GPS. I can't use something like I have long known, and here's what I like about that. I know that systems are good for me.
Yeah.
But I have that tendency when I'm going off road to start looking for somebody else's systems.
Right.
And so this isn't it. I just have to retune up my own GPS, like get back to my system,
Yeah.
not somebody else's. Like there was something we were just talking about. I didn't get a chance to say it because my family interrupted me, but like while we were kind of in the breakout, we were talking and Carol said something that made me think of, I just lost it. It just made me think of the fact that we all have, no, it's gone. I'll let you know when it returns.
Yes. Write it in the chat and then
Yeah.
it'll forever be there. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Can I just say too, like I need to my belief of you and my perspective of you is that your GPS is crazy strong. That is my experience with you, is that your GPS is crazy strong. And maybe the trust of your GPS could be strengthened. Like, just thought of that when you were saying, and recalibration and that stuff, yes, but your GPS is crazy strong.
Oh, I just got it back. I just got it back. We were talking, and it lines right up. I said to Foxy too, I said, here's the thing, like when I felt really challenged when she said about the fear versus, and I said, I don't know if that's true for me because I feel like the voice I can't trust is very bold and very courageous. And it says, girl, let's do all the things. And I'm like, and I said, so I have to really sit in that to figure that piece out. And then Carol said something and I was thinking, oh, you know what? Because we're those people that buy all the, like, I have so many undone courses. I would not ever have to buy another course and I could do a course from now until the day I die. Becky, I see you. Right? Like I am that girl. I want to do all the things. And so that's what I mean by stay in my lane. Yes, my GPS has all the possibilities and I have plugged all those things in, but I have to reach like one place and then do like you can't follow all the courses at one time.
Right.
And so that's what I think this year is about for me, like that stay in your lane thing. Accomplish and then enlarge, accomplish and enlarge instead of like losing my way.
Yeah, that's so good. I'm so glad that this is recorded. Accomplish and then enlarge, accomplish and then enlarge instead of losing my own way, because there are so many opportunities out there for all of us and they're screaming at us all the time. And so that's why it's important to know our GPS and to learn to trust it. So thank you, Shelly, for that, and for Carol for the inspiration, and for Foxy for the all these things, like all of it going together. This is an amazing mastermind. I wanted to, Amy Mead, I see your hand, and I want to say, life is a fickle thing. All you have is now. Thank you, Terry Ann. Fear is my best friend. Back facts. More than once, I've thought, I'll have some of whatever Shelly's having. Yes, Amy Mead. That's awesome. Accomplishment creates confidence, Terry. Do the work of one course before moving on to another course. That's huge. Implement what I've learned. That is huge, Brenda. Awesome. Okay, so sign me up. So Amy Mead, let's hear from you.
So sort of like I am also one of those people that wants to do all the things, and I'm like a learning junkie. So I'll be reading and another topic will show up in whatever I'm reading and I'll be like, "Ooh, I want to know more about that." And then I'll get another book. And then I just have like all these books everywhere and it's like I want to absorb all this information and like don't have the time. And like I'm learning to be okay with that, and I'm also learning to accept that like I don't have to be busy all the time. So in my mind, and I know that it's fear, it's saying that like, well, you have to like be productive, like you're not doing anything productive right now, and sometimes resting is productive. And sometimes doing nothing just to let all the other shit settle is being productive.
Yes.
In your own way. And that's something that I really, really struggle with. So I'm the person that like brings the computer to bed or like has the notebook to like be taking note, and it's like I'm learning to say enough is enough.
Yeah. I love that Shelley just said too, settling thinking, still verbs. Those are verbs, those are actions. And when you said, I feel like I have to or had to be productive, that brought me back to Sister B's talk, because that's where I was thinking is in the have to or had to, what are the things that we're placing on ourselves that we're saying that we have to do? Like I have to be productive. Why? What's the root of that? Why? Why do we need to be productive all the time? And that busyness, like busy is so far away from a badge of honor. And so like if we can, when we see that, feel that, know that, like it used to be a badge of honor for me that I was working 100 hours a week. I was getting 4 hours of sleep. I was always going from the one thing to the next, and it led to a stroke. So learned that busyness is so far from a badge of honor. And Carol Rudd, we've got you.
Okay. What I was going to say, and if I can remember, pull my thoughts together, we'll be good. That, growing up, we have mindsets that we inherit from our family. Mindsets of life is hard. You have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And to be an effective human, you have to be productive and you have to do these things. And really changing those and realizing that there's a choice in that. And I keep rattling back to my choice, but
Yes.
there's a choice in that, and that it's a learning curve. I mean, I still struggle to be, and then the other one is perfect, right? We have to be perfect, right? We have to be busy and we have to perfect our art and what we're doing. And I learned from my martial arts instructor that practice makes
better.
Permanent. We never struggle for perfection. We never strive for perfection. Practice makes permanent.
Love that. Would you write that in the chat?
Sure. So it's kind of like relearning some of our mindsets and saying, and really challenging ourselves to say, no, we don't need to do that anymore. We can do it differently. Yeah.
And I've learned too, in perfection equals paralyzation. So that's to Nicole's training, that paralyzation in our mind is worse than paralyzation in our body, and perfection, the pursuit of perfection, equals paralyzation. So how to stay away from that paralyzation in our mind? Let go of the perfection, let go of the pursuit of perfection, and go for the permanence. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We are at 101. This time has been so life-giving. And personally thanking each of you for being here and for sharing in living on purpose. Personally, you mean the world to us. So thank you.